I could get your attention really quickly, those of you that are still here, if you want to find a seat, that would be great. Or you can stand, that's cool. Although you get to stand a lot during the wedding. Yeah, you guys are up here. Yeah. You're kind of a big deal, Karen. It feels like winter. Can we leave this for Sunday? Jennifer's leading worship, though. That might not end well. You go down when you... All right, Josh, I'm going to give it to you.
Why? Cool. Neither do I. I don't know. Are we still streaming? What does that mean? Hey, Granddad. You got a cute belly.
So I was just told that I was supposed to be first by my wife, because that's how things happen. The wife tells you what to do. Right, Josh? So I have 4 daughters, and they're not all the same. And you might think that they would all be the same, but they are all very, very, very different. Some of them are more stubborn than others, more strong-willed than others. I always think back when Alicia was a little girl. Marissa and Reagan were, and if you've come to church, you know this well. I share these stories all the time, but she wanted her alone time all the time. She was always trying to find, you were always trying to get alone. And we had this entertainment center that had a weird decoration to it, and it was kind of had an opening underneath, and she would crawl behind that thing and just hide for as long as she could because she just wanted to be by herself. And it's the more I've thought about that in the recent days, I've realized that it wasn't necessarily just about being alone. I think that Alicia has always been a very contemplative person, and she's longed for quiet moments to be able to seek God and to really know herself. And so I think I started to learn that as I was her dad more and more. But I've been so in awe of who she is. She challenges me more than anyone I know. We have some of the most incredible conversations about God and about theology. She preached at the church last year, 2 years ago, and she wrote her first draft of the sermon, and she sat down with me in the living room, and she said, "Dad, I want you to hear this." So she goes through the whole thing, and I'm just in awe. I'm like, I want to preach like that. And she said, "Is that okay? Is it okay?" And I'm like, "It's way better than okay." I remember the first sermon I did when I was a kid. It was awful. The pastor wouldn't even let me have the tape of it. He was like, "Yeah, we're going to burn that so nobody ever finds it." So I just have been in awe. And so when she left for Australia, my heart was very mixed, right? Because God gave me an incredibly important job. He gave me this incredible job of protecting this little girl. And it's a big job. And the most important thing he gave me to do was to guard her heart. And so when she left for Australia, I was worried because I couldn't protect her as well as I could when she was here. I remember one night, it was early, she'd only been gone a few weeks, and she had gone on some kind of trip, and there was an issue, and they were far away from the school, and there was a bus issue and driving issue, and she was kind of alone, and Nikki just started bawling. Like, we were laying in bed, and Alicia's calling us, and Nikki's just like, "We got to go get her. Like, we have to go get her. She's not okay." And I was a little panicked. Nikki looked at me. She said, was this all a mistake? Did we send her away? Did we mess up sending her to Australia? But we believed God had called her to Hillsong, and we knew that God could guard her heart. But one thing we've learned, and one thing we believe, and one thing that I think the people in this room represent, is that God also loves to send his body to fill the role of guardian and protector. He sent me first. And then we started to hear about a boy. Now, some of you may not some of you do because you know Alicia. When she said that I never was going to get married, I mean, like, legitimately, like, I looked at Nikki many times and said, this kid's never getting married, and what does that mean for us? But I held fast to the idea that she loves alone time and thought, well, she won't live with us forever. But this boy showed up. I remember, I think it was Jaden was the first one that said to me, Dad, there's this boy she's talking to. And I said, Alicia's not talking to any boys. She's there to focus on Jesus, and she's never getting married. And then she called me. And she said, Dad, this boy checks every box on my list. And I said, oh, yeah? Well, let's hear this list. And as I waited to hear superficialities and just prepared my response about how you need to slow down and, you know, thinking of Phil Collins songs, You Can't Hurry Love. And that was the Supremes before that. She said, Dad, he loves Jesus with all of his heart. He loves to sit and talk theology with me for hours at a time. He loves to worship, and he listens when I talk. And I said, who's his favorite football team? There was nothing I could say to argue with her. And what I learned since that day, what I've watched, is that, Josh, you are everything I prayed you would be. You are her perfect helpmate. Alicia, I've never had more mixed emotions about losing a job. On one hand, I hate it that I'm not the most important man in your life anymore. But I am so grateful that God sent the perfect man to fill the job. Josh, the greatest compliment I can give you is that I trust you with my daughter's heart. And I know that you will guard it at all costs. We love you, and we are excited to watch how God uses you in the future. I think we're toasting or something. I don't know, drink something.
No, I'm not saying anything, but I told him to give us toast, not a sermon, but he did a good job.
That's kind of really awkward because I did prepare a sermon. I don't really want to be up here. I want to be over here. I just want to start by saying thanks to Scott and Nikki, and all the Hambury family, actually, because you guys have done Hambury family. Because you guys have done an amazing job of making Karen and I and all the Aussies feel really, really, really welcome in our time in Longview. So thank you so much. We've loved getting to know you, and we recognise and appreciate that you've put in a lot of effort in making us feel at home and making us feel very welcome. And that's made a difficult journey just a little bit easier. So thank you. And I also want to thank you for the immense effort that you have put in to support Josh here in America. We've only been here for 2 weeks, and there's all kinds of cultural barriers that we've come up against. And I know that you've really helped him, but also for thanking Josh, also for helping Josh and Alicia in getting all of this ready. You've done an amazing job. So would you help me in thanking them for the amazing job that they have done? It was a pretty good wedding, wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty good. one of the things that I was really mindful was that there are a whole pile of people in the background that we weren't seeing who were doing amazing jobs at bringing us worship, bringing us sound, bringing us video. So would you put your hands together for them? Thank you for all of the unseen people. There we go. Now, Josh, I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to panic. But I realise that there's a lot of people in the room who don't know Josh very well. I got your back, dude. It's all good. It's all good. You may not know that Josh grew up on the beach during hot summers and Christmas breaks. Very, very different to here. Far less rain, let me tell you. He grew up swimming, fishing, snorkeling and frolicking in the ocean. And towards the end of his time, Alicia and Josh had 3 weeks at our place, and Alicia learned to frolic in the ocean too, and I'm glad that we had that time. You may not... Sorry? Yeah, nobody tells Scott that Alicia was swimming in the ocean. Yeah, there was a shark bite really near our house, actually, near where we live. Don't tell that to Scott either, all right? Don't tell him. You may not know that he likes, or he loves actually, to catch or to spear a fish and then clean it and cook it for lunch. You might not have known it. You might not have known that there were a lot of times we went hungry. You may not know that he loves summer fruits like mangoes, cherries, watermelon, and rock melon. You don't know what a rock melon is. It's a cantaloupe. Cantaloupe. It's a cantaloupe. You may not know that he loves hot toast with melted butter and Vegemite for breakfast. And I know there's a lot of fear in the room when I say the word Vegemite, but I introduced some of your countrymen to Vegemite today and they loved it. Scott is he's starting to come around. He's starting to come around. Keith loved it. Keith loved it. Keith loved it. So, you could help him out with some of those things. You probably don't know that Josh has two parents who are just incredibly proud of him. We are proud of what he has accomplished academically and musically, but we're proud of so much more than just that. We are proud of who he is as a son and who he's become as a man. We are proud of what he stands for. We are proud of what drives him. We are proud of his desire to be a follower of Jesus and the way he goes about that. And we are proud of the woman that he has chosen to make that life journey with. As parents of two young men, and my other son is standing beside or behind Josh, he would say the better looking of the two, but I don't know that that's true. Not today, anyway. As parents of two young men, Karen and I have looked forward for a long time at who they would bring home for dinner. And our tradition in Australia is that we know it's serious when someone comes home for a lamb roast. Now that's kind of weird because you don't eat a lot of lamb. And Alicia doesn't eat lamb because she thinks they're cute and cuddly and not meant to be eaten. So when Alicia came home for a chicken roast, we were pretty excited. And Alicia has not disappointed in any way. We were really happy when Josh brought her down the coast to visit. She was a little shy at first. She was navigating a lot of cultural barriers, and she was also working out how to survive in an all-male, other than beautiful Karen, an all-male family, as opposed to having come out of an all-girl family. But as time went on, she learned how to deal with that, and we learned that she was a little bit feisty and a little sassy at times. I'm not sure if you've noticed that or not. Alicia, we love you dearly. All of our family love you dearly. We love your passion for Jesus. We love your American mannerisms. And we love that little bit of sass that comes out. We don't want that to go away. We have loved getting to know you and your family. And we welcome you to our family. You are a wonderful addition, and we have almost forgiven you. Almost forgiven you for bringing our son to America. Aristotle identified that there are some situations where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So what he was saying was, if you have one hammer and you add another hammer, you get two hammers, right? Right? Right. But there are some situations where you put two things together and you get more than just the two things. And we think that's true of Alicia and Josh. We believe that Alicia and Joshua both have a call of God on their lives. They both have great potential, and they both have a significant destiny in God. But together, it seems to us that that call, that potential, that destiny is greater than the individual parts. So we're excited. And we wait with anticipation and expectation about what God will do through them. And because of that, we are praying in faith to that end about how God will reveal and fulfill the promises that He's made to us many, many years ago through them. And we're excited about that. So finally, we have a couple of concerns about pronunciation, Josh. And we think that we need to talk about those. We've noticed already that biscuits have become cookies. Process has become process. And we are particularly worried about bananas, potatoes, and tomatoes. So, because of that, we want you to know that there is always a place for both of you in Australia, and you will always be welcome for any length of time that you choose. We are praying both God's richest blessing and favour on you both and on your lives together as husband and wife. So here's to Alicia and Josh. Alicia and Josh.
Put me to sleep. For everyone in the room that doesn't know me, I'm Caleb and I'm Josh's younger and only brother. I'd also like to start with a little background about Josh, but mine's not boring. In the last 3 years, Josh finished school and absolutely smashed it. He got an awesome test result and he succeeded even further in music. He was accepted into university but followed his dream of drumming and went to college in Sydney. Even though Josh pretty much had everything that anyone would want, it wasn't right for him, and he dropped everything. He dropped all his friends, he moved, he was just gone. My family was a little confused as to why, but it was pretty clear that he needed a fresh start. He needed a new beginning, so he followed God's calling to Hillsong College, which of course is where he met Alicia. After a couple of months settling into a new way of living, Josh told me over FaceTime that he had a little girl. His exact words was, "She's heaps hot." Josh then brought Alicia home for our roast, and our family welcomed Alicia into our home, but it wasn't quite the Alicia that we know today. She was very quiet, very shy, and used a knife and fork. Since then, we have learnt more about Alicia, and it's been such an amazing couple of months getting to know how funny and loud she really is. The impact Alicia has had on my brother is only good, and I'm so thankful that my brother has found such a beautiful, kind person who brings the best out of him. After a couple of months knowing Alicia and seeing how the two interacted with each other, it was pretty obvious that it was more than just a friendship that Josh told it was. And now we're here celebrating their wedding. One of the hardest parts about this wedding is that my family has to leave one behind. It's going to be hard and different for my family, but we could only wish that my brother is happy. And with Alicia, he is. While being in Longview with my family, we got the pleasure to stay and know Alicia's and Josh's new family, the Hemberries. Knowing my brother is going to have the same love and care from such a beautiful family makes it much easier to leave him behind. I'd like to congratulate Josh and Alicia on their new marriage and wish them an amazing future they will have together.
Alright, I'm gonna try and stop crying really fast before I get my speech. Okay, so when I was first asked to make this speech, I sat down and I looked at a piece of paper for about 20 minutes and I had no clue what to say because I thought my other sisters would be a lot better at this than I would be, so I don't know why I'm doing this. But then I started to think about all of the memories that I've shared with Alicia over the past 17 years of my life. And I can truly say that Alicia is my best friend. And my sister. I tried so hard not to cry that whole wedding, so I have an excuse here. Alicia and me, when we were younger, did not get along the way we get along today. We shared a room for a long time, and basically what would happen was when we cleaned the room, Alicia told me I'm not cleaning it right, kicked me out of the room, and she cleaned the whole thing. What I think she didn't realize was that I was getting out of the cleaning. So why would I learn to clean, right? She did it anyways. I'm learning how to get my own room and learn how to clean, but it's okay. When we got into high school, me and Alicia started becoming pretty close. Me and Alicia went on drives together and listened to music and just spent a lot of time together, hanging out with the kids that she babysat. And I just got to see her grow into the most amazing and wonderful and godly woman and godly person that I know. And then my sister told me she wanted to move to Australia. And I was really mad. Because she was my best friend, and we spent pretty much every single weekend together and every day together. And so I thought to myself, well, now I'm not quite sure who I'm going to hang out with. But so I spent the last probably month and a half of her being home crying. But I always cry because I'm just an emotional person. And I cry all the time. And me and Alicia spent that last month and a half probably every single day together, going on drives, listening to the music that we always listened to from the time we started hanging out all the time till now. And I realized that I told myself, I said, my parents said she's going to go to Australia and she'll come back. She won't find anyone. And I said, she's going to go to Australia and find a boy. And they're like, no, she's not. I said, yes, she is. I know how this works. And then I thought she was going to move to Australia away from us. And that made me cry even more because, like I said, I'm just an emotional person who cries all the time. And I got a call from Alicia in April. Well, no, I got a text from Alicia in March telling me, yeah, I've been hanging out with this kid. His name's Josh. He's super cool, super nice, but I'm just not sure how I'm feeling about him yet. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then I got a call from Alicia and Josh in April. And they were talking to me, and Josh was being his goofy self. I don't know what this whole shy thing Alicia was doing, because Josh was never like that with us. And didn't happen for us. And I had Alicia leave the room, or she had to go do something. She went to the bathroom or something. And I said, Josh, what are your intentions with my sister? And she said to marry her and love her for the rest of my life. Or he said that. To marry her and love her for the rest of my life. And I was like, whoa, you guys have known each other for like a week. Calm down. But then I started thinking, and I realized after watching Alicia and Josh interact on FaceTime and how all the things she was telling me, that this was the person that we all thought would never come because she always told us she wasn't going to get married. And I fell in love with Josh, and I fell in love with Alicia and Josh's relationship, and I thought to myself, oh shoot, I just lost my best friend. And then, as Josh and Alicia prepared to come home, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's a joke in my family that I'm the only single one, and I spend a lot of my time doing that, and being the ninth wheel. But Josh texted me and said, I promise that we will never leave you out, and you are always welcome to come and hang out with me and Alicia for everything we do. And I thought, this is my favorite brother-in-law. I guess Joey's all right too. I'm just kidding. I love them both the same, but Josh a little bit more. After watching them interact over the past few weeks together, it is evident that this is a relationship that was made by God and that they love each other so much. And I am so thankful that Josh has entered our life, and I'm thankful that he entered my sister's life because she needs someone to listen to her talk, and he's willing to do it. But I am so thankful that they are part of our lives, and I'm so thankful for my sister and my best friend, and I'm so happy for you. And I'm going to stop right now because otherwise I'm going to just cry for the rest of the night. So, thank you.
All right. Women, you guys want to say anything? Wives? Yeah, I know. The original plans, they were going to pray during the service, and Nikki and Karen were both like, no, we're not going to be able to do that. Although God can decode crying. You guys, God can decode crying. He understands. Yeah. Well, we're going to have them cut the cake. And then at 9:30, which is 18 minutes from now, we're going to do a sparkler send-off. So where are the sparklers? Candace, the wonderful Candace Scatman who's leaving, will do what?
We'll hand out the sparklers over here at 9:30, and we're going to light them all at the same time as quick as possible so that we can get a great picture before some of them go out. So,
Where can they get fire to light those with? Oh, that was a great segue to the little goodie bags that have matches in them. The little goodies bags have matches. I thought we were supposed to be on the same page. We weren't. Okay, with that, yes, you may.
There was just one thing I was supposed to do that I didn't do. We've got a couple of pictures from Australia of people watching your wedding, and we just wanted to show you a couple of those. So if we could cue those now, that would be fantastic. So this is Josh's nephews cousins. We have the next one. So this is our church watching back at home. That's the cousins again. And I think that might be a video. I think it's time to cut the cake.
All right, they'll cut the cake at 9:30. Sparkler send-off. Are we going to be outside with the sparklers? It's probably our insurance would appreciate that. So we'll grab a sparkler at 9:30 and we'll send them off. Thank you.